Omagyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Shri Gauravakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Shikandar Vika Giridhari, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki Jai, Sarva Vigna Vinashak Bhakta Vatsal Nrsimhadev Bhagavan ki Jai. Pranam Sankirtan Mahayagna ki Jai, Jai Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Ramaya Ramabhadraya Ramachandraya Vedase Raghunathaya Nathaya Sitaya Pataye Namaha. Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langaite Agreement Patamahamande Shri Guru Dinataranam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishvara. So nice to be with you all again. Wishing you all a very fruitful, very successful Kartik Mas. Today is Ekadashi, Rama Ekadashi. Before I say anything, I wanted to remind you that during this Ekadashi, it was in 1974, Rama Ekadashi, that Srila Prabhupada completed the translation of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. So it's a very special day for all followers of Lord Chaitanya, because it's on this day that Srila Prabhupada completed, as per the authorized order of his Guru, spiritual master, completed the translation of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. And Srila Prabhupada was very happy that he could fulfill one more instruction of his spiritual master. And Srila Prabhupada, early in the morning, when the devotees come to pick him up, go with him for a morning walk in the Juhu beach, Srila Prabhupada says that this has to be celebrated. This event has to be celebrated because after many years after I received this instruction, I was finally able to complete the translation of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Maybe it's a good day today that we should read at least one or two verses of the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Prabhupada was immensely pleased that he could complete it. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So today's topic is Hanuman's search for Sita Devi. So Hanuman is searching for Sita Devi. So as soon as Sugriva comes to his senses and realizes that he made a mistake of ignoring the promise that he had given to Lord Rama, that he would send his army generals to look for Sita, he's brought to his senses by a very aggressive and angry Lakshmana. As soon as he sees Lakshmana, Sugriva realizes that he made a mistake in not fulfilling the promise that he gave to Lord Rama immediately after he became the king. So nevertheless, he summons all his military leaders, generals, and then tells them that get ready, you all have to go on an expedition, because you have to go out in 4 different directions and look for Sita Mata. This is the part of the promise that I had made to Lord Rama. We struck a friendship deal. So Rama restored this kingdom to me and my wife and family to me. And I had promised him that as soon as I get hold of the kingdom, I would send the generals and army and in 4 different directions to look for Sita Mata. So it comes upon Hanuman to lead the expedition in the southern direction. Jatayu had revealed to Lord Rama that he witnessed how, and he battled Ravana. And Ravana was headed in a southerly direction after having kidnapped Sita Devi, Sita Mata. So Rama had a clue that Rama had a clue that Ravana was headed south. So Rama, by some arrangement, it was Hanuman's turn to go in the southern direction. Lord Rama comes to Hanuman and personally requests him, you should know what Sita means to me, how important she is to me. See, sometimes people don't understand this conversation very completely. It's not that Lord Rama was like a henpecked husband or something. He felt that this lady, bereft of his association and his protection, would feel very pathetic, very miserable, very helpless, very scared, very afraid, and so if Rama felt obligated that she should be protected, she should be brought back under his care and shelter, he felt great compassion, and Rama felt gratitude that Sita had taken care of him so nicely all these years in the forest, and she had served him so well. So it's more a relationship of Lord Rama being grateful to Sita, etc., and recognizing Sita Mata's unconditional, intense love for Lord Rama. And by the same token, we should understand that anybody who is very intensely serving, loving, serving, worshipping Lord Rama becomes qualified for special attention and affection of Lord Rama. Just as another example, we can quote the example of Hanuman. Lord Rama became very, very obliged to Hanuman, very grateful to Hanuman. So much so that Mother Sita also became very obliged and grateful to Hanuman. So it's not the conventional husband missing the wife story. It's of course that is also their husband's duty to protect the wife, but it's a lot more than that. Sita Mata's Mother Sita is an example of unconditional, very intense, loving, serving mood towards Lord Rama. And hence Lord Rama was moved, obligated, and felt very responsible to rescue Sita. And Lord Rama crying at the separation of Sita is the same as the intense feeling of separation that Lord Rama feels or Lord Krishna feels towards any of his very special devotees. Similar, though of course the feeling is much more stronger in the case of Mother Sita or Radharani, because they were much more intense, unconditional loving exchanges that would happen between Sita Mata, Mother Sita, and Lord Rama. So, be that as it may, now moving on to the story, Lord Rama comes to Hanuman and tells him, Hanuman, you have been chosen by providence to go in the southern direction. And I suspect that Sita Devi, Mother Sita, is somewhere in the southern direction, because that's what Jatayu revealed to me as he was passing away after he battled Ravana, heroically battled Ravana. So I want you to look for her very intensely. My feeling of separation from Sita, Mother Sita, is actually growing every moment. My fear for her safety and security, my anxiety, my fear, my duty to protect her, and separation from someone who loved me so much. And I recognize and I'm aware that how helpless and how pathetic Sita Mata, Mother Sita, would be feeling, having been forcibly separated from me. So I would like that you diligently search the entire southern hemisphere until you find Mother Sita, because I suspect she's somewhere there. And I also suspect that Ramana's Lanka is down there in the south. So Hanuman becomes very moved, and he says, my dear Lord, you don't have to say these things. From your countenance, I can make out how much you miss Sita Mata, how much you care for every one of your devotee, not just Mother Sita. How kind and compassionate and loving you are, how sensitive and gentle you are, how much you recognize the pain and suffering of your devotees. when they are forcibly separated from you. In addition to your order, I have also received a similar order from Sugriva that I should, within 30 days, come back with the news upon discovering the whereabouts of Mother Sita. I'm not able to explain how carefully and how in what a dedicated manner I'm going to take this instruction. This instruction is like my life for me. This request now, I become even more deeply obliged that I cannot. I am also becoming equally restless and impatient to go down in the southerly direction, and somehow or other look into every forest, every mountain, every cave, every ocean, every house, every palace, and search for Sita. And I will do to the best of my capacity. I will do, and Lord willing, maybe I'll find Sita. Then Rama is so deeply touched by his dedication, by his sincerity, by his determination, by his faith, by his unconditional love and intense, whatever, desire to serve and please, that Rama picks up his ring like this. He pulls a ring out of his finger and gives it to Hanuman and says, this is what I got at the time of my wedding. I'm not so sure if Mother Sita will recognize and accept you as my representative. But you just show this ring and she'll keep quiet. She will accept you. Hanuman will receive the ring carefully and circumambulate Lord Rama and Sugriva, pay obeisances and seek their blessings and set off in the southerly direction. So even the very act of receiving the instruction, Lord Hanuman is exemplary, is very, what shall I say, perfect. Very exemplary, very perfect. Even the act of receiving the instruction, he receives it in a very worshipful mood, very grateful mood, very careful, very diligent, very alert, attentive. This is how a disciple should be. If you're searching for any role model as to how a disciple or a devotee or a servant should be, Hanuman is one of the best out there in the Vedic scriptures. He is one of the best. So Hanuman pays obeisances to his master Sugriva and to Lord Rama, bids farewell, and he sets off. And of course, they along with Hanuman is Angada, the crown prince, has also been sent along with a few others. I can't recollect the names, but a few others. And so they're searching and looking and doing, every mountain, every cave, every forest, every town, every village, searching for Mother Sita. And then finally they reach the ocean, the banks of the ocean. Reaching the banks of the ocean becomes one of the turning points of in Hanuman's life, we can say. I can't quite say if it is a turning point in Ramayana. Very nearly, you could say one of the turning points in Ramayana, but definitely one of the turning points in the life of Hanuman. So Hanuman goes to the banks of the ocean and he's looking. He can't see the other side. Obviously not, because it's 100 yojanas long. That means 800 miles long. The ocean. That's a long way off. Those days, Lanka was 800 miles away from the shores of the Indian Ocean. Hanuman is looking like that. And Angada and his other associates are also looking. They're dumbfounded. They don't know what to do. They just don't know what to do. And out there on the other side, there's a very good chance that Mother Sita is there being held captive by Ravana. But in order to discover, they first have to cross this ocean and go to Lanka. How on earth would someone cross an ocean which is 800 miles long, even if you're the best of swimmers or whatever? And they had the 30-day deadline. They had to come back within 30 days and report to Sugriva and Lord Rama. So Angada actually becomes a little suspicious about Sugriva, because Angada is the son of Vali. Vali and Sugriva had that very legendary enmity. So Angada becomes suspicious of Sugriva and says, Sugriva is Jan Bujke sent me. He knew what we will encounter here, and that's why he sent me here. We'll encounter an ocean that we cannot cross. And so when I go back, Sugriva can punish me, saying you failed in your mission. Maybe he'll even remove me from a position as a crown prince to become the king after Sugriva. Maybe he'll punish me. Who knows? Maybe he'll even kill me because I could not find Sita, etc. Angada becomes very despondent and very dejected. He just sits there. And the others in the party of searching party, find and rescue. Actually, not find and rescue party, it's find and report back party. So they also become like that. But Hanuman moves away from them and goes away a little away and sits, and he's looking into the ocean. And he's wondering what he's supposed to do. One side, he has Lord Rama's instructions, Sugriva's command. Another side, he has the ocean. And the other side, he knows that there's a chance that Sita Mata, Mother Sita, could be on the other side. He's wondering what he has to do. And he looks at his Hanuman, looks at his monkey associates. They're all on the verge of giving up. Angada says, I'm just going to sit here and fast on to death. I think that's better than returning back empty-handed and becoming punished by Sugriva. I'd rather sit here, meditate. Some kind of a yoga is there. And the name is also mentioned. Some yogic asana, where you just sit still, you don't move, and just go on breathing until your body comes to a point of time where you stop breathing or the soul exits the body. So Angada sits or gets ready to sit in that posture. And then suddenly they notice that Hanuman is sitting a little away and gazing into the ocean. And then they go and ask Hanuman, so what's your opinion? What do you think we should do? This is what we have decided. We are just going to sit here because we are not able to cross the ocean. We don't know how to find Sita. If we go back, there's a risk that we may be punished. Hanuman will look at them and then say, we want to give up this mission and sit here and die. Hanuman will say, there's no such thing as giving up for me. I don't know what it means. I don't know what it means. I don't know how to give up. I only know how to follow and follow and follow and try. I'm going to try. They ask him, yeah, but how? What are you going to do? How will you try? How will you cross this ocean or something like that? Then Hanuman will say, that I don't know exactly the details of how I'm going to cross the ocean. But I'm definitely going to figure out some way of doing it, and I will do it. I will try. I'd rather die trying than giving up. There's no such thing as giving up. This is the order of my master Sugriva, and this is the personal request of Lord Rama. And I'm also, once in a while, I imagine in my mind what could be the mental state of Mother Sita, held captive by Ravana, separated from her loved ones. And this venomous, what is he? Very, very asuric. Just as you can say the perfect example of a servant and a disciple could be Hanuman, a perfect example of an asura is Ravana. Perfect asura. So you can imagine what life can be being held captive by Ravana. So then Hanuman is thinking like that, and then they're conversing. And then they talk about Jatayu. Hanuman says, Jatayu has confirmed that Mother Sita was taken down south. So do we have a choice? We have to go. As to how I will go, I'm thinking, let me see. I'll figure out something. As soon as the name Jatayu is mentioned, Sampati is the brother of Jatayu. An old bird who's perched up on some tree there immediately becomes alert and says, whoever spoke the name Jatayu, Jatayu is my brother. So what happened to him? Why did you talk about him in past tense? As if what happened? Did something happen to Jatayu? Then they tell the story of Jatayu, how he fought Ravana and how. And Sampati also confirms that he saw Ravana fly that way. And Sita Mata, an extremely beautiful damsel, was held captive by Ravana. Extremely charming and beautiful lady. And she was weeping. And Ravana was forcibly having captured her, was going. And then when he comes to know about Jatayu having fought and being killed by Ravana, then Sampati is a wild old bird. Sampati then recollects, I don't know, I think Sampati then recollects that Hanuman is not some ordinary person. It's not just some ordinary Vanara. And then he remembers and reminds Hanuman of the blessings that he had got when he was a little kid, when he was just born. Because everybody, all the devatas, everybody knew that this son of Vayu, born to Anjana Devi, is going to serve the Lord in a very exemplary manner later on, assist the Lord in a very exemplary manner while the Lord performs his leelas, Bhauma leelas. And they will literally queue up, all the devatas literally queue up, and they want to give him blessings. They want to give him boons. So practically all the devatas come one by one and they offer rishis, munis, gandharvas, charanas, suparnas. All of them, along with the devatas, come and bless Hanuman because they know that this Hanuman is going to be a big hero, going to play a big role in Lord Rama's Leela. And they don't want to miss out. They want to bless him. They're so happy. Hanuman doesn't know all this yet. He's still a little Vanara, mischievous Vanara. Everybody comes and blesses him. Many people give many astras, etc., including Lord Brahma. Even Brahma comes down to bless. See, this is a very interesting sequence of events because for me, it's very reassuring when I read this, because when we come forward to serve Krishna, sometimes we face difficulties. We oppose our parents or grandparents or society or whatever. And especially when we come forward and take risks and responsibilities like Hanuman did, volunteer ourselves. I mean, there is also bhakti in the comfort zone, but there's also bhakti in the zone of dedication, dedication, sacrifice, and surrender. So we have to move from comfort zone to that zone, the zone of surrender, zone of unconditional bhakti, zone of dedication, sincerity, unconditional surrender, and constant engagement in bhakti. You have to move. Hanuman is a great example of that. So when we move to that phase, how all the devatas, the rishis, munis, the suparnas, the nagas, the charanas, the siddhas, everybody want to line up and bless you. The devatas, Indra, Varuna, Vayu, Agni, Brahma, all of them come forward to bless. The Pitrus, Pretas, Pitrus, all of them bless, which is actually a great celebration in the sense that when a living entity comes forward and surrenders and wants to serve Krishna unconditionally, it's that one big change that will, what shall I say, completely alter one's life. So Hanuman is a very great inspiration. And as they are blessing him, it's said that the denizens and these rishis, munis are showering flowers on Hanuman, little kid. But then, of course, Sampati reminds Hanuman, or rather reminds Hanuman that he would forget about those blessings because he became too mischievous. He became a little difficult to handle. At the end of the day, he's a Vanara. Once in a while in Valmiki Ramayana, Valmiki points out that Hanuman is, don't forget, he's a monkey too. So Valmiki mentions that because he became too very uncontrollably mischievous. So all the rishis and the devatas got together again and said, hey, listen, this is becoming a nuisance. So they suspend their blessings. They suspend the blessings and they say he will remember about these blessings when he really needs them in the service of Lord Rama. So Sampati reminds him and says, hey, son of Vayu Putra, now is the time for you to remember all those blessings. Then Hanuman suddenly comes to realize it's such a sweet pastime. Hanuman doesn't give up. He stays there. He says, I have to go. I will go. I'd rather die trying than give up. I don't know what it means to give up. My guru, my authority or whatever, my master's words are everything for me. I live for that. How can I give up? I don't know how to give up. There's no such thing as giving up at all. I'd rather die trying. Such a sweet devotee, Hanuman, unassumingly sweet. And when Sampati reminds him all these things, and Hanuman also says, wow, if ever I need extraordinary power, it is now. It is now that I need that power. And Sampati will remind him that you can grow in size to as big as you wish to be, or you become as tiny as the occasion demands. So Hanuman suddenly decides that this is the time that I have to become big, massive. So simply by the thought, Hanuman worships all his forefathers, everybody, all the devatas, and says, look, I'm stuck here. I need to cross the ocean. Mother Sita is probably there. Either way, I have to go and search for her, because that's the command of my master, Lord Rama and Sugriva. Will you all kindly, the wishes that you had suspended, you offer, you release them. And they're more than happy, they're more than willing. As soon as he remembers all these blessings that he had got, Hanuman grows in size and, kind of running out of time. So Hanuman grows in size and he becomes so huge and massive. And then that whole thing is explained in a very, very spiritual way. How Hanuman, why does he become so big? That whole process where Hanuman is reminded about the blessings that he has got, and how actually the whole thing is so nicely philosophically explained, saying that it is held in suspension. It's not given to him fully, because we should not use anything that we have for anything other than Krishna's service. So it's a kind of a reinforcement that whatever we get, whatever we have, I mean, we don't have to necessarily get blessings like we grow in size or something, whatever Krishna has provided. And by the way, the Hare Krishna mantra and the daily sadhana program that Srila Prabhupada has given is so inconceivably powerful. Prabhupada said you can become a yogi by following these programs. You can become a very powerful mystic yogi by following the morning program and listening to Bhagavatam and following the instructions of your guru. There's no limit to how powerful a person can become spiritually, materially also, when he diligently surrenders and follows the instructions of his guru. So that's one philosophical aspect. The other philosophical aspect is that, the other philosophical aspect is that anything extraordinary is kind of given to us by Krishna. Like he says in the 10th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, intelligence, beauty, name, fame, power, whatever, strength, etc. Vibhuti Yoga, Krishna gives to his devotees when they're engaged in his service. Especially the Lord will be pleased to bestow such benedictions when they are engaged in the service of the Lord. Like Lord Chaitanya used to empower his intimate personal servants. So you go to Orissa and preach, you go to Bangladesh. Oh, well, there wasn't Bangladesh then. You go to Gauda Desha and preach. You go here and preach. You go to Vrindavan and, what is it called? Renovate or restore, revive all the places that were connected with Lord Krishna's pastime. You write books, whatever. The empowerment, he would empower his disciples to do different things like that. So we have here a unique example of how Hanuman was blessed and empowered by all the devatas. Besides that, he was blessed and empowered by Sugriva and Lord Rama himself personally. So this is a very extraordinary event, even from a Guru Shishya perspective. And then there's a further analysis of what happens and how Hanuman actually takes off. Hanuman is shedding all his doubts and fears and apprehensions that he had, whether he's capable of performing the services that have been asked of him, because he sees that he sees that he's getting divine help. So Hanuman recognizes that there is some divine help coming his way. And so he can fearlessly go and fearlessly proceed with his mission. And then, of course, then more explanations are given as to the glory of Hanuman. So it's actually it's a changing point, like I said, in the life of Hanuman, because Hanuman becomes even more determined. And so when he grows in size, all of his Vanara associates, including Angada, become astounded. They thank Sampati for reminding Hanuman, and they give their best wishes to Hanuman. And I think the monkeys will also say that they'll just sit there on the ocean bank, constantly praying for him, praying that his mission should be successful. And they would sit in that kind of a yogi posture till he comes back. And so they command him, saying, you go and find Mother Sita and come back. We'll all be waiting for you. Like that. So Hanuman becomes very conscious of that. They'll all be waiting for him. And Hanuman is also impatient because he's constantly thinking of how Rama is feeling separation and how Sita Mata, Mother Sita, is also feeling helpless, hopeless, despondent at being forcibly separated and held as a prisoner by Ravana against her wish. Actually, there's in the Valmiki Ramayana, it is mentioned that Sita Mata, Mother Sita, was capable of burning down Lanka. One angry glance would have burnt down Lanka. She refrains from doing it because she says that I don't have the authority to do that. I haven't got the permission to do that. Otherwise, one glance of a chaste woman, of a chaste, sincere woman, can destroy. Just as Gandhari could actually, in one sense of the term, express her great anger at Krishna and curse the Yadu dynasty. And Krishna says, may it happen as per your curse. Sita Mata, Mother Sita, could burn down Lanka, but she refrains from doing it because she's not permitted, or rather, she doesn't have the permission to do that from her beloved Lord Rama. So Hanuman takes off. And when he takes off, it is said that the Nagas, the Charanas, the Gandharvas, the Siddhas, the Suparnas, the Rishis, the Munis, the Pitrus, the Devatas, they're all in ecstasy. Said, here is this wonderful devotee of the Lord who has conquered his own fear and doubt, and is taking a leap into history, you can say. Like sometimes they use the word saying, it's a history-making leap. So Hanuman's leap across the ocean was like that. It was straight away making history, breaking all known records. Imagine someone jumping 800 miles and breaking all known records, because they become so overjoyed. This is the victory of devotion. This is the victory of bhakti. This is the great achievement of Hanuman. He expressed his absolute fearlessness. He doesn't know what's there on the other side, but he's leapt into, he's just jumped off into the air. He's going on a mission fearlessly. He's conquered his fears, his doubts, his anger. He's conquered, and they shower flowers upon him and they shower blessings. And then amazing things are there in the Sundarakanda of Valmiki. It is said that Hanuman is flying quite high, and suddenly notices that the sun's rays are not as scorching as they generally are. And that's because the sun decides that, as it is doing something so extraordinary, history-making leap of Hanuman. What is my contribution? How can I serve him? How can I also serve him? So sun god decides that he's not going to scorch him like he can normally do. And by the way, sun god was his guru. Another important thing that I had to mention in that transformation of, in one sense, it is a transformation of Hanuman into a much higher level of surrender, unconditional surrender to the wishes of his Lord. As he takes off, or before he takes off, he kneels down, takes blessings of Angada, Sampati, everybody. And then he remembers. This is another amazing thing. He remembers everybody who has blessed him and thanks them, gratefully thanks them. He remembers his father, Vayu, remembers Indra, remembers his guru, Surya Deva, and takes the blessings of his guru, Surya Deva. And then he leaps off into that mission. of finding Mother Sita. So Valmiki Ramayana clearly says that he offers prayers to all these great personalities. So in the act of searching for Sita, Hanuman actually is, shall I say, every step that he takes, he's demonstrating how a disciple, how a devotee should conduct himself. Hanuman is actually confronting his own self-doubts. It is said in Valmiki Ramayana. And some Vaishnava acharyas have commented that Hanuman had some doubt at some point of time. How am I going to do that? Not that he wanted to give up, but he was doubtful. He said, is there a way? How can I do this? How can I cross this ocean? So what should I do? How do I take this mission forward? Hanuman was unsure until Sampati reveals to him the blessings that he had received. It's not that Hanuman decided to jump after it was revealed to him. Hanuman decided to go, but he was trying to figure out how to do it. That's when when we also try, extraordinary things tend to happen when we cross the, shall I say, conventional boundaries of faith and devotion and bhakti and sincerity, unconditional surrender, as it is understood in normal terminology. We go further and deeper into surrender and faith. So Hanuman's journey is the journey of a disciple in discovering what a guru-shishya relationship to be. Hanuman's journey of finding Sita was to discover himself, discover the beauty of a guru-shishya relationship. In this case, his master, Lord Rama, in what way one has to dedicate himself and serve his master. So on the way, I'll probably have time only to talk about Mainaka mountain. So on the way, as he's flying across the ocean, there's a mountain which is hidden inside the ocean by the name Mainaka. So the Sagara Devata, the ocean god, requests Mainaka and says that, hey, listen, it's a long journey, 800 miles non-stop flying. I think we should help Hanuman. Sagara Devata requests Mainaka and says, why don't you grow in size, just as Hanuman did? Become huge, massive, come out of the ocean and become like that. And give Hanuman a chance to land on you, pause. Maybe you can give him some refreshments, encourage him so he can pause, rest, and before he takes off again, completely recharged. Mainaka is more than happy, more than willing. Mainaka feels he's honored by such a request from Sagara Devata. He says, who wouldn't like to serve Hanuman? Who wouldn't like to serve the Dasa of the Lord? Who wouldn't like to become the Dasa of the Dasa of the Dasa, servant of the servant of the servant? What's the use of my existence if I can't serve even a little bit? So Mainaka grows in size and becomes huge, massive. And just as is ordered by Sagara Devata, prepares a lot of these nuts and fruits and whatever, roots and fruits and nuts, keeps them neatly arranged for Hanuman. And as Hanuman is flying, suddenly he'll encounter a mountain, huge mountain. And the mountain god wishes him, hails him, says, long live Hanuman, great hero. Nice to see you. Can I be of some service to you? Mainaka asks Hanuman, I'm sure you must be tired. It's been a long jump. Why don't you just pause? Why don't you just rest on me? Give me a chance to serve you. Rest your lotus feet. Pause. Accept some refreshments. Recharge yourself. And then you can take off. And may you be successful in your mission. And then, of course, Mainaka goes on to tell a story of how in one of the previous yugas, the wind god had saved him from some kind of a calamity. But he says, no, I'm not returning the favor now. Even otherwise, I would have done this because I'm so impressed. I'm completely impressed. You're doing something which is inconceivable. You put your life at risk. You're going in search of Mother Sita into the land of unknown or whatever, into the land of the Asuras. You don't even know what is there on the other side, who or what is waiting for you. But fearlessly, you're going ahead. And here's my little service. Hanuman will look at Mainaka very respectfully, address him and says, I'm very grateful to you. And I'm also honored that you want to help me in this manner. But you know what? Actually, I'm on a very urgent mission. I have three things in my mind. One is Lord Rama's lamentation. How in every passing minute, Lord Rama's intense separation from Sita Mata is increasing, and he's becoming more and more, anxious for the safety and security of Sita, how she is placed, etc., to get some information so that he can go and rescue her. So I have that one thing in my mind. The other thing in my mind is Mother Sita. Oh, she must be suffering. It's been a long time she was separated from Lord Rama. How that pitiable young lady, so gentle lady, how her anxiety and fear at being held captive by Ravana would also be increasing minute by minute. And we don't know what Ravana would do next to Mother Sita. So there's a urgency about this mission. And the third thing is about my monkey associates, starting from Sugriva and here Angada and others who are sitting on the shore, who are waiting for me, who probably wait, starve, fast until I get back. So I have three things in my mind. So kindly excuse me, don't mistake me, don't think I'm being arrogant or disrespectful, but this is not the time for me to stop, pause, take a break, refresh myself. By the way, I feel very energetic. I'm not tired. I'm okay. This is the beauty of serving the Lord. I'm neither fatigued nor tired, nor do I feel that I need a break or a refreshments. So please don't mistake me. I can keep going like this, I don't know, until I find Lanka. But I'm very grateful to you, very thoughtful of you to offer all this. But there's no way I'm going to stop by. Maybe some other time, if time or Kala permits, I will come back to accept your hospitality. But for now, I will just pause. I'll just land on you, keep my foot and take off again. Just simply to respect you're such a senior devotee of the Lord and very great soul. Just out of respect for you, I will just land and take off like that. In other words, I'll just hop on you and take off. Because I'm on a time-bound mission. I'm really not. I can't pass now. So that's the mood in which Hanuman takes off. So actually, every aspect of Hanuman's search for Sita, there's something we can learn. Actually, not. There's so much we can learn. And then Mainaka becomes so impressed. He says, I'm not surprised at how you have reacted. I'm not surprised at all that you're so fixed up in your mission. You're so focused. You're so clear. You don't want distractions of any kind. You're a glorious servant. And the fact that you're just placing your foot, and then you're taking off, that itself is such an honor for me, and privilege and honor that you're placing your foot on me en route to Lanka. I pray for your success. I wish you success. May your mission be successful. May you accomplish your mission. Mainaka will bless Hanuman. And Sagara Devata also will, Sagara Devata will in turn come and bless Mainaka. This is very nice. You respected my request. Mainaka will say, it was a pleasure doing it. And Indra, who had in the past threatened all the mountains and chopped off their wings, Mainaka actually escapes from Indra and it tumbles off into the ocean and hides inside the ocean so Indra can't find him. And so his wings are still intact. In the previous ages, mountains had wings. Misbehaved and Indra went about chopping off the wings of all the mountains, and that's when they became grounded, the mountain. But Mainaka escaped. That's where Vayu helped Mainaka escape. Mainaka tumbled into the ocean and hid inside the ocean with the help of Vayu. Indra will call for Mainaka and tell Mainaka, thank you very much. I'm very grateful to you. You served Hanuman nicely. I mean, they're all watching this whole thing, huh? The Devatas, the Rishis, the Munis, the Suparnas, the Nagas. It's just absorbed in watching, minute by minute, running commentaries going on. Or they're watching ringside view of what's happening, what Hanuman is doing. Mainaka will then, Indra will promise Mainaka, for this service you have done, you can live fearlessly. I won't chop off your wings. I'm very grateful to what you've done. It's a whole complex arrangement, universal arrangement. Everything is focused on one thing: to serve and please Krishna and Guru. And when someone comes forward, excuse me, and someone comes forward and starts doing it, imagine how blessed they become. I'm afraid I have to stop here because, I mean, I could carry you only halfway across the ocean. What can I do? No, I'm not going to leave you like that. Halfway across the ocean. Yeah, Hanuman's story is very, very inspiring. Maybe some other time we'll get time to continue with this story. But for today, I thought I'll just share with you what's the philosophical aspect of the Hanuman's search. What do we pick from that? What are the takeaways? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Ramaya Ramabhadraya, Ramachandraya Vedase, Raghunathaya Nathaya, Sitaya Pataye Namaha. Yes, thank you very much. If there are any questions or comments, maybe the next couple of minutes. I don't know if it made sense or was it too fast or I don't know. Shibani, yes, Mataji, do you have a question?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, Shibani Mataji.
Is my voice audible, Prabhu? Can I?
Perfect, perfect.
Okay, Prabhu, see in this episode, of course, not entire Ramayana episode I will be referring, but from the time Sita Mata was kidnapped till the time Rama rescued Sita Mata from Ravana, there has been various emotions or acts what Lord Rama, Sita Mata has expressed. What I'm trying to ask is that, see, Rama and Sita is one and the same, just like Radha Krishna, or, they are all part. But Rama lamenting for Sita as if like an ordinary man with a wife with kidnapped. Likewise, Rama showing helplessness that, see, if he had wanted for him, killing Ravana is what? As if he doesn't know where Sita Mata is gone. So he is exhibiting this kind of helplessness, those emotions very humanly. So I know for every act of him, there are some messages for the mankind. That I think that is the main message. What I want to know from you, what are those various messages starting from Sita Mata's kidnap till her rescue? Just in brief, we could say there will be 4 or 5 important messages at every step. So I just want to know that, Prabhu. If I have made my question clear, is it clear, Prabhu, what I'm trying to understand?
I think so. I'll attempt to answer. So basically, yeah, you're saying Rama comes through as just like anybody else in this world. So his divine nature seems to be overshadowed by his lamentation or shedding tears at the separation from Sita Mata, Mother Sita. But you should understand that the Valmiki Ramayana explains that it's not like how a normal husband would feel separation from his wife. not like that alone. Rama recognizes the extraordinary qualities in Sita, Mother Sita, her dependence, her chastity, her complete faith, her complete love, unconditional, deep, intense love. Lord Rama is thinking, how can she live without me? I mean, she fought with me to come with me to the Dandakaranya forest. She's so dependent on me. She's so connected with me. She's almost like me. I mean, you know what? One soul, two bodies type. She's that she must be missing me so terribly. Uh,